The time is almost here. Go and lay the groundwork. A world where only true pirates can survive will soon be upon us. Those without power, flee while you can. The tide will bring those of unmatched power, and the new age will begin. Society. We live in it, thrive in it, and say that it's bad. But what is society? Okay, I will quiet down with a mental jerk-off session and talk about a man. A man who lived in a society where one has all the power and prestige in the world. Imagine if you could live in such a society. Anything you want, you would have, no questions asked. If you didn't get what you wanted, you have the world's naval force at your disposal to help you get what you want. Cool, right? But then your simple-minded dad decides to let go of everything to live with the poor folk of the world. You now hate your dad, decide to kill him, and then become a major arms dealer in the criminal underground, usurp, yes that is a word, a major world kingdom, only to be defeated by a kid whose English dub sounds like something out of Family Guy. Such was the upbringing of Donquixote Doflamingo, an enigmatic man in the One Piece world. In this video I will ruin my channel's reach once again by going into a series that won't give me much views but is very close to my heart, One Piece. More specifically, I'll be discussing the character of Donquixote Doflamingo, his philosophy, and how influential of a man he was in the One Piece world. So let's dive right in. Arrogance is just touching the surface of the type of person Doflamingo is. Prideful and filled with malice, Doflamingo is known in the criminal underworld and by his colleagues as Joker. That's a little society reference for you not so woke people. There is no denying that he is the prime showman of One Piece. A dramatic man, Doflamingo has a habit of posing extravagantly, giving ominous declarations and threats that he very much can build down upon. Whether you're a fleet admiral, an admiral, or the whole world combined, Doflamingo exhibits a confident persona with a penchant for words every single time. A good example of this is when he openly taunted Fleet Admiral Sengoku in the Warlord meeting pre-timeskip. There is no denying that he fears no man and cares not of what anyone thinks of him. You can see it in his day-to-day affairs. Dofi talks and walks the Joker grindset. My dude is such a Chad, he even sits on a pile of bodies if he's feeling the need. If you watch One Piece according to the storyline, you would find Doflamingo to be the biggest asshole out there. But when he's isolated from the storyline, he is indeed someone with complexities that are worth looking at. He's someone who had it all, was thrown into quote-unquote society, and became the cool, calm, and pure evil maniac Kaido-san loved and adored. Now, Doflamingo is cool, calm, collected. I get it, he's an OG, but there is another layer of his personality. His utter lack of fear or doubt about what he's going to do. Again, I shall use the lingo of the interwebs, Chad and Sigma as a synonym to this aspect of Dofi's personality. There have been countless moments when he's held no fear. When Aokiji got the jump on him at Punk Hazard, Doflamingo knew what he was doing. He was about to kill a Navy officer but stopped in his footsteps when he sensed Aokiji standing behind him. Though he knew whom he was messing with, Doflamingo held his ground but was level-headed enough, looking at you Sanji, to back down from the fight as quickly as possible, since going against Aokiji would be akin to suicide. The last example was something that really didn't show off the grindset of Dofi in its entirety. This man's confidence is so sky high that he even robbed the world nobles just so he could blackmail the government. During a war where bodies were hitting the floor left and right, this man was smiling, celebrating the events that were taking place. Only in certain moments, like when he's getting pummeled himself, or when a certain Pinocchio and a doctor decide to ruin his business operations, does Doflamingo let go of his iconic smile and get a big angry face. Writing this, I feel a bit of sympathy for Doflamingo since he was such an optimistic guy. Even when his forehead was full of veins from the anger people caused him, he still managed to keep his head up high and smile. But like every man who has ever lived in a society, there's also a backdrop. By that, I mean Doflamingo and his past. If there is one thing that might perturb this man, it's the memories of being attacked by a mob as a child. Being a celestial dragon, he was an object of hate for the commoners whom his father wanted to join. This had a traumatic effect on Dofi, who went through life having those memories etched inside of him for good, reliving each moment in his sleep as a nightmare. Besides that, his fear is that of his business dealings. Most importantly, his dealings with his boss, Kaido, whom he fears a lot. Proof of this is his visible anger when he could not produce the smiles necessary for Kaido to continue his operations. Honestly, the smiles seemed so menacing when they were first talked about. Now they're nothing but a joke. With that out of the way, let's discuss the philosophy of Doflamingo. The philosophy of Doflamingo revolves around power. He's power hungry and maniacal in his approach towards the world, but it's no fault of his own since the society he grew up in warped his perception of the world, making him become the man he eventually became. Let's dissect this point further, shall we? As a child, he grew up with the celestial dragons, which, as we all know, allowed him to become a maniacal child from the get-go. As a kid, he grew up with all sorts of luxuries. Anything he wanted, he got. even slaves. He was always in excess, never in shortage. Now, a child experiencing ownership of slaves and having people left and right bowing down to him can make you lose control of your sanity. Of course, it doesn't matter when you're born like this and stay that course throughout your life. But Doflamingo's lifestyle would go through an unprecedented change. It would be a change that would wake up his mind to the realities of the world. When Don Quixote Homing, Dofi's father, decided to opt out of the celestial dragon lifestyle, it was a shock to Dofi, who couldn't believe that the people who once lived below him now lived on an equal footing. Now living in a shack and being chased left and right by commoners, Doflamingo cursed his luck, saw the experiences people go through to provide for themselves and their family, and the dregs of society. Things take a massive turn for the worst when these former celestial dragons are finally hunted down and are being hung to be crucified and killed as revenge. With no power at his disposal, Doflamingo realized how crazy things were outside. While he was able to survive that experience due to his conqueror's haki, Doflamingo realized what he needed to do to get ahead in such a hostile world. This brings me to might is right. No, not might guy. Might is right. That's the philosophy of Doflamingo in its entirety. Abiding by this philosophy, he moved ahead in the world, not caring for anyone and only focusing on accumulating more power. Anyone who stood in his way, whether it be family or friends, he shot or killed without a moment's hesitation or remorse. Everyone that he ever got close to, whether it be his pirate crew or certain rookies, he did so to further his own ends. There was no charity to the man. The creation of the Don Quixote pirates, the alliance with Kaido, the Smile Factory, and Caesar, the sacking of Dressrosa, and the supply of illegal arms to war-torn countries, Doflamingo did all of that to further his own ends and no one else's. He reminds me a lot of Griffith from Berserk, though in him being more of a selfish individual than a person who does the ultimate betrayal in the history of anime and manga. The best part about Doflamingo is that even when he was defeated, he wasn't reformed or had changed his ways. Being chained and going to jail, that confidence, charisma, and enigmatic personality remained. The speech about the throne wars showcased Doflamingo's personality in his entirety. It exhibited that deep within this enigmatic man lied a person who knew how the world worked, and knew how pivotal his role was in the world. His fall led to the events at Wano, and within the Yonko saga, Doflamingo was the vital piece of Jenga block that needed to be toppled for others to come down. Thanks for watching.